Look at Gujarat. We've been out there for 25 years. We lost Madhya Pradesh. We were out for 15 years. We lost Chhattisgarh. We were out for 15 years. We haven't come back in Uttar Pradesh. We haven't come back in Bihar. We haven't come back in West Bengal. Now you lose 2019. 1 year has gone. If you are always going to have people around you who say everything is hunky-dory and things will turn, Mr. Modi will lose because of anti-incumbency, forget it. You're dealing with formidable election machine. You're dealing with an ambitious Mr. Modi. When people say that the BJP has become authoritarian, extremely communal, fascist, it's frightening. People who are, NGOs and activists and people from the media and so on and so forth. You realize that the Congress has to be the foundational stone for the change. They may have removed me as a spokesperson. That doesn't make any difference to me whatsoever. I do believe that Congress has to be an alternative to the Bharatiya Janata Party, a better option than the Bharatiya Janata Party. And the reason why I wrote those articles was because I don't think anybody was listening to me. And I think I'm just one among several, kind of people within the Congress party who believe that we need to be heard. The Congress now needs to ask itself, why did it not defend itself well? Why were we, possibly derailed by Anna Hazare and Arvind Kejriwal? Why did suddenly, the magic of Mr. Modi overwhelm the party? And what worries me now more than anything else is that sometimes when we get into this losing streak, I think the party just loses its momentum to fight back. I mean, look at Gujarat. We've been out there for 25 years. We lost Madhya Pradesh. We were out for 15 years. We lost Chhattisgarh. We were out for 15 years. We haven't come back in Uttar Pradesh. We haven't come back in Bihar. We haven't come back in West Bengal. One of our most formidable bastions like Telangana and Andhra have just disappeared. Let's not even talk of Tamil Nadu. There is a disturbing, shall we say, pattern here. And the Congress party needs to be very aware of this paradigm. Now you lose 2019, 1 year has gone. We haven't done the rumination. We haven't done the introspection. The fact of the matter is that the buck always stops with the people at the top. And so, it'll have to be the CWC, in my opinion. There are very eminent people in the CWC. They have political experience. They are what we call in journalistic parlance as the heavyweights. The truth is, what are you doing with all the experience and expertise you have? Let me tell you now the truth, okay? And nobody can deny this. There was not a single meeting where spokespersons huddled up for a day, half a day, debated issues. How do we handle the BJP's onslaught? Do we handle some channels differently? Are some anchors a little more tricky and difficult? These are things you debate. How do we create sound bites? Is our narrative going wrong? I mean, what's our strategy? How do we position Mr. Rahul Gandhi? He's being attacked left, right, and center. Is the party looking too anti-industry? Are we looking too pro-minorities? And is that the reason why Mr. Modi is creating this majoritarian story? Whatever. I mean, these were the dynamics that were being discussed day in and day out. And you'll be astonished to know that there was not a single such meeting in 5 years. Now, in my opinion, in today's day and age, when political communication is what the BJP has mastered, and frankly, it's the biggest talking point in democracies all over the world, whether you look at America with Mr. Trump and the Democrats or the Labour and the Conservatives in UK, everywhere. And here we were taking on the BJP, absolutely formidable, monstrous election machine. And we treated political communication as if it was a lightweight cipher. A couple of things that the party must do. One is create a shadow cabinet in the areas of home, defense, health, foreign affairs, make sure that your best people are monitoring this government on a day-to-day basis. Clearly have elections to CWC and the Congress president. I give an example in one of my newspaper columns that Pandit Nehru wrote columns against himself, warning himself as an advisory that please do not become autocratic or dictatorial. I mean, that's the spirit of essential democracy. That is the true Congress. And the other suggestion that I have given is that please change the game of transparency by actually disclosing where do you get your money from. And I can tell you the people of this country will demand to know that from the BJP. And then you'll get to know if there are any quid pro quo deals between shady corporates and the Bharatiya Janata Party. where we have made the ultimate mistake is that we have got ourselves detached from the grassroots. One had to admire Mr. Gandhi for taking the moral, shall we say, authority or the courage and saying, listen, if the party hasn't done well and we have been brutally devastated a second time round, I take the full responsibility for it because I led the campaign. And, end of day, that's what real leadership is all about. The fact is that the CWC had enough time to get a new leader, and there is no dearth of talent in the Congress party. There are, I'm telling you, a dime a dozen good people who've given a chance who could perhaps perform beyond anything that we have even contemplated at the moment. So, the CWC, I thought, really did not take a decision, did not possibly even seriously engage in finding out who the potential leaders of the party could be in the future. Mr. Gandhi refused to come back, for weeks and months on end. He was very categorical. And now it's almost a year and plus since we lost the election. So clearly we haven't had a really defined, distinctive leadership. And Mrs. Sonia Gandhi took up the leadership. She said that I'm here only for a temporary period, and I'm taking this, responsibility under the kind of political compulsions that were prevalent around that time. But, how long can this carry on? And see, the Congress president needs to be somebody who's very, shall we say, hands-on, who's very well connected with the grassroots, is also very good at handling the media, is bilingual, at least definitely in Hindi and English, can comment on foreign policy, economy, national security, and the general political dynamics, can pick up the phone and do alliances, basically is both the poor, the middle class, and can engage with industry. I think the Congress should fix this problem at the earliest, because otherwise, I think people will always look back and say, why did we blow an opportunity just when the country needed the Congress the most?